you ready? Ooh. And you better watch Jamie Lynn Spears. All right, folks. Blue, I need you to get away. Blue, I need you to get away. America Plus is beginning in 5, 4, 3, 2. Did you know that I'm making a movie? What's up, everyone? It's America Plus. I'm your host, McCormick. It's another week, another episode of What's Going On, everybody. It's Sunday, July 20th, 7:12 in the p.m. It's a beautiful day to be alive, folks. I'm happy to be here. It is a good time to be alive, folks. What is going on, y'all? I'm coming to you in good vibes. I'm getting off a really chill shift at work at my new job, making car keys at Costco. It's a really fun, easy, laid back job, I would say, and I'm getting paid fairly well, I think. So, I'm just in like a better mood. My life has been topsy turvy the last few months, last year, and I've just been trying to find myself. I've been trying to really find my place in space and just really try to connect with my soul. But now I feel like I'm really doing it. I feel like it's just a new vibe. A few weeks ago, it was a beginning of a new era. We're in the middle, we're in the very early stages of this new era for the show and for my life. And what I want to focus on this week, guys, I haven't done a movie episode in a minute. And I just want to focus on the films and cinema and what's going on in the movie world. Pretty much, I wanted to focus on two different stories, one pertaining to AI, one pertaining to myself. Okay. And I'll get to that in a little bit. But what I want to talk about real quick is there is this article that came out a few days ago or a couple days ago. It was from the Hollywood Reporter and it's connected to Netflix. Netflix had a recent earnings report that came out. They had some Wall Street talk and they had an announcement saying that they actually Netflix said that they actually used AI in one of their television shows, which I think is really interesting. This is the first time a major studio has really discussed the use of AI. And pretty much, long story short, the CEO, Ted Sarandos, he said that we remain convinced that AI represents an incredible opportunity to help creators make films and series better, not just cheaper. So this is real people doing real work with better tools. Our creators are already seeing the benefits of production through pre-visualization and shot planning work, and certainly visual effects. This is used for a show called the Eternaut. It was an Argentinian sci-fi series, and there's like, I don't know, they used the AI to like create some like apocalyptic scene, some building was falling down, but pretty much they were able to make this scene within like 10 times faster than what would happen with regular like VFX, visual effects workers. Like pretty much what happens with like a common visual effects workshop, like with like a VFX like company, it takes like, I don't know, like 6 weeks to make one shot, and I'm talking about like one like frame or like a 3-second shot. And it takes 6 weeks to make something like that. And that's why it takes so long for the Avengers movies to be filmed. And that's why when you go to a Marvel movie, that's why the credits are always like like 3,000 people deep, because that's how many different visual effects companies are working on these big movies and big shows. And here we are in 2025, and Netflix is actually using AI to shrink that time from doing one shot in 6 weeks into 1 week. Okay, that's pretty insane. That's a pretty cool and crazy, and I guess from one perspective, scary story. When it comes to visual effects and AI, I don't care about it. Like, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it's just been obvious that AI will take over visual effects. If you're a person who's in visual effects and it's your job to like model things, then you got to figure out how to use AI. You got to figure out how to position yourself. If you still want to be in this business, you're going to have to figure out how to use this tool and like position yourself for strength. Because if you don't, then you're done. And this is just going to lead the way for all other studios. There's a lot of consolidation happening within Hollywood. Paramount is trying to be bought out by Skydance. Disney just continues to buy things. Disney's in the middle of a lawsuit with an AI company called Midjourney, my favorite AI actually. They're saying Midjourney's stealing their designs. They're ripping Disney off, which I don't think really has any legs. They might win it. I don't know. We'll see. It's super early in the process of that, but pretty much AI and Hollywood, they're sort of at odds with each other. But at the same time, Hollywood is embracing AI because they need to bring their costs down. It costs way too much money to make a show. It costs way too much money to make a movie. Netflix did share their earnings reports a little bit, and they're making billions of dollars. But what I think is interesting is this graph that was shared. Pretty much, Netflix is making over $11 billion within this quarter two of 2025, and their operating income. Now, I'm assuming this operating income involves them making their shows. They're only spending 3.7 billion. Okay, so they're making 11 and they're spending 3.7. And that, I think that's a good business model. Spend a few billion to make tens of billions. That sounds pretty good. And now they're trying to shrink that number even more. If they're spending 3.7 billion on content, now this could be bullshit. Like, I could be wrong here, but I'm just going off of this number in front of me. If they're spending 3 billion on content and just to make sure the system keeps spitting out things, then how much can AI reduce this number? If it can reduce it by 25 million, that's a pretty big deal. If it can reduce it by 700 million, that's a pretty big deal. That's almost $1 billion. Like, what if AI is able to save studios $1 billion in how they make their things? If I'm a business person, I have to move towards that technology. And there's talk saying that it might take up half. Like, Hollywood might be able to save studios half of what they're spending right now. For an example, I'm pretty sure the new Jurassic World movie that cost over $250 million to make. All these movies, like the common big movie costs over $250 million to make. And they're hoping to make $500 million, just to break even, And so if they're using AI, if I'm in Bob Iger's position, if I'm in Netflix's position, I have to use AI for this. Okay. And I'm really interested to see more interviews with filmmakers who are using this technology, because that's really, it's one thing for the business people to say, we're going to use it. It's another thing to actually hear the artists and the people on the ground talk about how they were approaching it and what they wanted to accomplish with it. Because when you're on X and when you're on Twitter and everything, there's all this discord about, oh, I don't want anything to be made with AI. There's all these freaking non-creative people who just complain about AI, and they just they want they're upset at any little AI. If AI was using anything, it's a bullshit movie. That happened with this one horror movie. This horror movie that was made for under $10 million. They used fucking Midjourney to make these still images. A still image, okay? They didn't replace an actor. They didn't take away any jobs. They used Midjourney to make a still image for the film, and people got pissed off. And that's sort of where we're at right now. But these people, these Hollywood people, are just going to keep on chugging along because they have to. They have to. Otherwise, they don't have a business. Okay, it's pretty that simple. And I've used AI in my films. I used AI in my short film, Magic Mushroom Fun Time. I was one of the first artists to actually use AI for a short film like that. There's some people who want to say that they're AI directors, they're AI artists. But I actually, in 2023, used AI to help me tell my story. I didn't replace anything with AI. I used AI to create psychedelic visuals and to portray images that were in my mind and in my body. Okay. You can scroll down on my Twitter to look for Magic Mushroom Fun Time. I was also the first person to release a movie via RSS feed, so that was pretty cool. And I got my whole crew paid through Value for Value, and that was like a big innovation. And so I'm not against AI in filmmaking. I'm actually going to be using it more. Like I want to. I think it's only going to help. But I am at a crossroads, and I'm figuring out how to move forward with my own creativity and this new technology, because this it's just blatant and I can't ignore it. And the sheer fact that I've already used it just means that I need to learn to use it more, or use it better at least, and that really takes me to what I really want to talk about, to this like announcement, this movie announcement. I am making a movie. I've decided that I'm making a feature length film. Okay? That's what's going on. Cole McCormick is making a feature length film. Okay? Feature length means like 80 minutes plus. Okay? Hour and a half, maybe a little bit more. We'll see how it goes. But pretty much, I'm making a movie. And because of where I'm at in my life and because of what I've experienced, um, I've always made movies that are a bit autobiographical. The two short films that I've made, they've been about real moments in my life, or at least real moments, like aspects of real moments in my life. And my first short film was The Break-In. Somebody actually broke into my apartment when I was sleeping, and I shook the guy's hand, and I told him he was going to be safe, which is super weird. And that like I had to make that movie. Magic Mushroom Fun Time was, of course, me taking mushrooms and just hanging out and just like having a good time, And now, when it comes to my creativity, and this is connected to my dad, right? My dad died last year. It's coming up on the 1 year anniversary. How many days am I like away from this? I'm like 1 week, 2 weeks. I'm like 2 weeks and a few days away from the 1 year anniversary of my dad's death. And that will forever be the most intense experience of my life. And I don't want to go too deep into it because I've already shared what that was like. Maybe I'll share more about that soon and talk about it. I'm trying to figure out how to commemorate that 1 year properly and healthy. But regardless, like connected to that, I've been living my life chasing towards this dream and this goal of being a director and making movies. And I grew up in a household where my parents supported me, and my father was always extremely supportive of that. When I said I wanted to move out and I wanted to make movies, like they never said no. They never said, "Do you want to think about a new career?" Like my parents never did anything like that. And they just it's an unrelentless love and support that I got from my parents. And during the cancer diagnosis, during my dad's last years on Earth, that dream was sort of fading away, right? So I found out that he had cancer in summer 2023. I make the movie Magic Mushroom Fun Time, and I'm just trying to be creative, And I've always done my best to express myself creatively. And when it got closer, during Magic Mushroom Fun Time and getting closer to his death, I went through this phase of like, do I even want to make movies? Like, do I really want to do this? Like, I need to like just be responsible, or I need to I need to be sustainable. I need money. I need consistency. Like, I've always been chasing that, like I've always been wanting consistency and stability in my life, but just something about post COVID, I've been through a few different jobs, and now my dad's sick, and it's like, what am I really doing out here? The industry's changing. There's strikes going on. There's, people are losing jobs. Technology is rising, and I sort of fell out of love with the idea of chasing like a Hollywood dream. I never wanted fame. I wanted some money, But now it's like I just want enough money, you know. I just want to be able to pay my bills properly and go on a vacation with my family, pay for a vacation for my family, you know. That's really what I want in my life. And objectively, like chasing a career in Hollywood, like I don't know how that's going to happen in today's day and age. You know, I'm sure there's people doing it, but I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to chase Hollywood anymore. I don't want to chase Hollywood. But recently, within this year, within 2025, it got to a point where I would think to myself, and I'm really trying to like think about my life, and I'm meditating and I'm praying and I'm trying to reorient my priorities. And it came to a point where I said, you know what? Like, what if I just made one movie? Like, what if I just put all of my energy into one movie? Would I be happy? And I thought on that for a minute, and the answer was yes. If I don't make any other movie after this film, then I think I'll be happy. I think I'll be satisfied with my life. Okay. And I wanted to make a movie that honors my father. And I want to make a movie that would make me feel good. And I want to make a movie that hopefully helps other people believe in the power of love, because that's what I think the world needs. The world and people need to refine their understanding of the power of love. And that means that I need to figure out a story that portrays that. And you know, this comes to what the movie's going to be about. This film will be about the story of my parents falling in love in the 1990s in Las Vegas. That's where they met. Okay? And I got this picture up here of like their my mom did like some old school cropping back in the day, and you know, this frame has been within my family for a very long time, since they were kids, since they were very young adults. So I've seen this image, the image that's the podcast image and what's on the video right now. Like I have seen this frame for all of my life, and I've always thought it was a cool image. But after my dad dies, I'm seeing this image, and it just hits in such a crazy level, dude. It just hits in a crazy, crazy vibe, because, you know, they were high school sweethearts. And my mother grew up Christian. My father did not. He was a fighter. He drank a lot. And he made a conscious choice to change his ways, to choose a new faith, and to commit to my mom. He wanted a better life for himself. I don't have the full story yet. I have aspects, I have snippets, I have chunks of what the story is. But right now, what the story is my dad wasn't happy with his life, with his home life. And he got into fights, and he was angry, and he drank and ate. But when it came to my mom, he was willing to change. And he was willing to look into himself and change his choices, change his thoughts, change his heart. And he was able to live a life. He actually became that family man. He became a business owner. He became a loving father who was able to pay for Disney trips and to support his kid moving out to LA. And it's like, it's crazy to think that this is that guy. This guy at prom. This guy at his prom was able to change his ways and to live a happy life. And this is such a real story, dude. And I need to do this. I feel like I must do this. I don't know the exact way that it will happen, but I feel compelled that I must make a film about my parents falling in love and how that love transformed my father. That's the real thing. That's the real story. Okay. And I set myself a little release date. I've given myself a deadline, December 2027. That's 2 years from now, 2.5 years from now. December 2027. That's for some, that might be a long ways away. Some people might die by then. You never know when you're gonna die. But that's just my deadline. That's when I want to release it at the very latest. I'm gonna give myself time to let the story cook and to do some research, because this is going to require some research pertaining to my family's or my parents' friends growing up. They're still in Las Vegas, so I got to do interviews. I got to talk to my mom. I got to look at. I'm sure there's old VHS tapes of parties. I know I've seen some like old VHS tape of my dad with some like the hat with the two beer can holders and he's like sipping two beers at the same time. Like I know that video exists. I've seen that. I got to find that. And I got to write it. I got to figure out, and maybe there's a writing partner out there who will help me write it. I don't know how it's going to be made. I want it to be good. I want it to feel like 10 Things I Hate About You and that Wham music video, Wham's Last Christmas music video. If that makes any sense to you, please look up Wham's Last Christmas music video. It's like a day in the life of these like teenagers hanging out at the ski resort, It's a very like authentic video. Like it's just like these people living. And so I want this movie to be authentic to these young people living in this era, 1990s Las Vegas. It sounds so unique. And there's a handful of films that take place in Las Vegas already. And it's such a fun area because it's where I was born and it's where they met. And it's Vegas, So whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas until they move away and have a kid. It's very unique. And I think this is a good take. I think it's a unique angle on love, on a love story. Maybe there's past love stories like within Shakespeare or other literature that I might be able to be inspired by. I'm seeking to make the best possible film ever. Ever. The best movie ever. And if you want to call me arrogant, go ahead, dude. But I read a quote from Christopher Nolan. That's how he goes into every movie. Every time Chris Nolan goes to make a movie, he believes he is making the best movie ever. And he's fucking Christopher Nolan. So that's how I gotta go. I gotta copy. I gotta listen to my dad. When I was in high school, my dad, and I was like about to play football. I was going into football camp. My dad goes right before I left. He tells me, Colt, my only advice, just look at what the seniors are doing. Look at what they're reading. Look at how they're practicing and just do what the seniors do. And that's like one of the biggest advices, like awesome things that my dad said to me growing up. And so, I got to do the same thing for movies. If Chris Nolan believes that he's making the best movie ever, I need to believe that I'm about to make the best movie ever. And I got to like be obsessed with this. And I got to commit to this. And it's going down. It's going down, dude. Like Donkey Kong. It's on like Donkey Kong. You heard? I'm making a movie, folks. It's happening. It's happening. So I'm really excited for it. And that takes me to a little part of this like discussion of like, how am I going to make it? Am I going to get actors? Do I need to film in Las Vegas? Am I just going to film in Arizona? How is this going to be accomplished? Should I use AI to do this? And here's one idea that I'm playing around with. Because of all the images that I have of my dad and mom, is it possible to use AI to recreate them? Could I recreate the youth of my parents through the power of AI? That would be surreal. I haven't experimented with it, but that sounds crazy, right? Now that would mean that like maybe the whole movie might be AI, and I low-key don't want that. Like I sort of want to be on set. I want to be filming things. I want to be getting locations and set dressing. I want to bring in old couches. I want there to be a crowd at a party, like I want these like certain scenes. I want the environment to be authentic, and I want to live in this environment for a minute, and I want there to be a crew around me. I want there to be cast and people and costumes, and I want to get the set right, and I want to get costumes right, you know, and there's a whole thing that goes into movies. And I want to do that. I want to make the best movie ever. And this movie is going to honor my father. And it just has to. It will. It just will. And so, will I use AI? I don't know. Is there a way to use AI in terms of like motion capture? Possibly. Could I use one actor? Or hell, maybe it could be me. Maybe I could play my dad and I got some dots on my face and I'm getting the computer to read like my facial expressions. And then I just put my dad's face on me. That's hilarious. That'd be surreal. I don't know how that will happen, but I'm sort of just putting this out into the ether so that it will be recorded and people will know that this was the beginning of the process of my film. This is the beginning of the process of Cole McCormick making a whole new experience. And that's the other thing too. So when it comes to my movies, I always want my movies to be an experience, right? That's like the tagline. That's like, you know, every movie, if you see like a Spike Lee movie, Spike Lee did Do the Right Thing back in the 90s. His every time he makes a movie, it's always a Spike Lee joint. You know, that's like his thing. Or every time when you see a Martin Scorsese movie, it always says a Martin Scorsese picture. Sometimes, like most of the time, it says a film by so and so. No. This is my movie. This is a Cole McCormick experience. That's what this has to be. This is a Cole McCormick experience. And that's the intention. And I'm going to make it immersive and raw and real. And it's going to grab you. And it's going to twist your heart. And it's going to make you feel like angry at times. And you're going to believe in the power of love. Can you believe in the transformational power of love? Can cinema help with that? I believe it can. The message, the mission is love. Can you feel the love in this movie? That's the mission, dude. And I feel fucking good. I feel aligned with my soul when I say that, you know? The personality is aligned with the soul. Wow. Woo. Getting crazy in here, you know? I feel good when I say that. Can cinema make you believe in the power of love? That's what's going down, folks. And so, what do you think about that? Do you think it's cool? Do you think it's lame? Is that totally like, is that so cringe? I'm making a movie about my parents. I just need to, because people need to know the story. Okay. They need to. And I think it's funny. I think it's going to be entertaining. I think it's going to be the best movie ever. So whatever. I'm just tooting my own horn, you know? Tooting my own horn. But I don't care if you're judging me, because I'm going to make this thing. When I set my mind to it, I'm going to make it. That's who I am. That's who Cole McCormick is. When I set my mind to something, I go for it. I believe in myself, and I know that I will accomplish it. I'm on some Tom Cruise shit, dude. Like, that's where I got to be right now. Post-dead dad, I got to be in some Tom Cruise shit. We're just going to figure it out, dude. We're just going to figure it out. If someone tells me I can't do it, I'm going to get someone who believes that we can do it. What do you think about that, man? I want to hear what you have to say, dude. Yeah, that's pretty much all the value I got. Let's go into the value for value section, folks. America Plus is a value for value show. I come on my RSS feed and my Twitter and my YouTube just to talk about how I'm feeling, talk about what I think is a valuable discussion to have with the world. And I certainly believe that leaning into your creativity is very important for Earth. It's important for your soul. It's important for how humanity is pushing forward. These are not just big sentences, whimsical things I'm saying. This is reality. It is important for reality for you to be creative in your own unique way. And this is how I'm trying to express it. And I exchange this expression within value for value. If you're getting any value through this podcast, I ask that you send that back to me within time, talent, or treasure. If you're on YouTube, give me a subscribe. If you're on Twitter, give me a retweet, comment, send this to your friends, or you can send me some treasure, some money. You can do that through multiple ways. You can send me some cash, or you can support me with the Fountain app.
Boosting is loving.
Go to value4value.info for more info, then download the fountain.fm app.
It's the best way to support the show.
Okay, so there's these podcast apps that let you send small bits of Bitcoin to podcasters. My favorite is called Fountain because it's like the simplest. And you can load up your wallet in Fountain with a credit card, and you're able to send me, if you choose, small bits of Bitcoin, the number that you want. Some people send a few hundred, some people send a few thousand. The number is really up to you, really. I think with the current Bitcoin price, 1,000 bits of Bitcoin equals $1. So just like think about it like that. And when you send in some Bitcoin, when you send in a Bitcoin with some messages, with a message, that's called a boostagram. And I'm going to be reading the boostagrams here right now, folks. This first boostagram comes in from @Pies. What up, Pies? He's a regular. What up, Pies? He sends in his usual 100 Satoshis. Thank you so much, Pies. And what he has to say is, yo, 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 with the like salute emoji, with the 2 mushroom emojis and the 3 flexing emojis. What up, Pies?
Boost.
Thank you so much, Pies. And then we got a few more boostagrams from this random guy online called Chad F. What up, Chad F? I know this guy. Chad F is pretty cool. He comments on last week's episode. I was talking about Jeffrey Epstein and Trump and how that's like connected to a whole insane satanic cloning cabal. So if you want to listen to some crazy conspiracy, go to last week. This first boostagram comes in from Chad F, and he sends in, I think he sent in 333 Satoshis, and he says, our big dumb mouth talked about this being much darker also. Yeah, dude, Chad F. I checked out that podcast, Our Big Dumb Mouth. That's a pretty good podcast. And I definitely vibe with the people talking about what I'm talking about. If you're talking about what I'm talking about, we're vibing. Next one from Chad F. He has like 2 more. Chad F sends in another 333 sats. He says, I agree with your take that it's all darker than pedophilia, but I'm also an atheist, so I don't believe in God or the devil, but I do believe in good and evil forces. Influence, whatever you want to call it. I think Satanism is just a blanket term for people doing evil stuff because it comes off as fake or childish. Either way, I like your perspective from a religious perspective. Thank you very much.
It's basically, you put Bitcoin with anything, and all of a sudden, that is more efficient.
And then the last one from Chad F, another 333. He says, just got back in the car, and the random radio station that's on is talking about the Epstein list. LOL. Everyone's talking about this thing. He goes on to say, my infotainment system is a little busted, so it just skips to random local radio stations until CarPlay connects. But it's always the same M5M talking points. And that's why I listen to podcasts.
Boosting is loving.
And now, as the French say, it is time for le boost.
Thank you so much, Chad F. Thank you to all those people who wanted to send in some Satoshis. That's value for value, folks. Get involved with the America Plus crew. Be a part of the crew. Download Fountain. Send me some sats or send me some cash moolah. I got my Linktree link down below. You can send me money on PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo if you want to support me financially in that way. This is just, I'm never going to have advertising. That's why I'm asking for this exchange. This is just how what I think the best model for producing content on the internet is. If you want to support me, and I would really appreciate it. What I want to go into now is another. Okay, let me share my screen here really quick. I always play a song at the end of the episode. This is a value for value song. So connected to value for value in podcasting, where you can send me money. You can also send small bits of Bitcoin to musicians. There's this new ecosystem of musicians releasing their music through an RSS feed and linking up a Bitcoin wallet to their music. And you're able to support them with that. And when I play this song, the song by Tony Salamone, I always give the artist a 90% split of your Satoshi donation. So if you like the song, if you vibe with it, Tony's going to get 90% of what you send in through a modern podcasting app like Fountain. And this is like how we get artists paid. You know, we don't need to trust Spotify. Screw Spotify. We don't need to trust YouTube or Apple. We need to pay each other directly. That's how the future of ecosystems, the future of economies will work, when we directly exchange with one another. Okay. So this song by Tony Salamone, it's called Cool Summer. I really like it. It's a good vibe. Don't forget to send it to Instagram if you like it. And I encourage you to just vibe with it, man. This is Tony Salamone. Cool Summer. Enjoy.
Summer day. Summer day. Old places left behind, but some ghost is in my mind. This taste is sweet bitter, and old faces following me, and hiding places I can't see. My light is getting dimmer. Shade, I'm burning up in the flames. Got a fever, won't let me be. I'm ready for a cool summer. No baby to call my own. Nobody to soothe my face. So only thing gonna chill my bones. I'm ready for a cool summer day.
That's America Plus, bitch. Stay free. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Folks, that's America Plus. Thanks for tuning in to the 11 folks here. I love y'all. And if you're on the audio, I love you even more. I'll catch you on